It's Debbie Baker. Thank you for listening, watching. I really appreciate it. Things have shown up. I'm really in a great place where there's something that shows up between recording times that always gives me something to talk about. I don't have to search too hard, which is really nice. And there have been several things that have come up recently. For this particular spot, it's about families who find that their children have disappointed them and they're going to cut them out of their estate. Sometimes it's for something that they've done. I mean, I know families where sadly children have stolen, misappropriated funds because somehow they had the right to get them, but misappropriated funds from families, or sometimes it's just hurt feelings, things being overlooked and stuff like that. But I had it come up recently, and it's really hard because often, which is even sadder, people will leave a child out of their estate, and they'll also leave all those children's children, grandchildren out of the estate. In this particular case, a client wanted to leave 2 of her children out of her estate and none of her grandchildren, which is perfect. So then it's trying to figure out, how do you put language in a will, because this all comes out of a will, that works and honors the person's wishes. And it was maneuvering, not manipulating, that's not fair. That sounds calculated and nasty, but maneuvering language so that it was clear that Joe and Susan Smith were being excluded, but not any of their respective children. It's a hard decision to make. And as an attorney, what's hard for me is I'm not in a position to attempt to dissuade somebody from doing that. I can ask them if they're sure, but that's really as far as it goes. One of the things I miss about my coaching practice way back in the long time ago was, in a situation like that, I could attempt to fathom more, but it's not my job to do as an attorney. This particular client, we figured it out. And the other thing that was interesting was the client was not leaving the grandchildren any particular tangible piece of her estate, but she was naming them beneficiaries of some of her assets. And so then the language in the will became that we included a statement that said that disinheriting the parents of these grandchildren did not mean that the grandchildren were being disinherited, nor did it negate any beneficiary designations, because beneficiary designations overrule anything else. This may have gotten pretty confusing, and I apologize. It was the first time I'd come up against this particular one, and I thought it was valuable. The other thing, since I'm thinking about it, that was unique about this situation for me, is this woman is a woman of faith, and she had about a dozen scriptures she wanted included in her will. And that was, how do you do that? And there wasn't any particular verse that pertains specifically to any particular section of the will. So it was learning about creating an additional document that gets included with the will, but isn't part of the body. I mean, there's nothing legally demanding about it, or does it have any basis in law? And I thought that was a really interesting thing. Colleagues have come up against this, but have come up with this before. And I really admired the woman for wanting to do it. I guess all of this is to say that the practice of law, when they say medicine and law practices, they really are, because you just can't know what a client's going to present you with, and you don't know the best way to handle it so that all parties are served, with the client being foremost, and protected from backlash from anybody who objects. Oh my gosh, it's having me think of all sorts of other things, but me, I think I'll end this one here. And I just want to thank you for listening. If you like what you've heard or seen, please comment, like, comment, and share. I My social media guys tells me, I mean, that's the way to get spread out there. But more importantly, it's just nice to hear back from people that something I've said has touched them, inspired them, moved them to take action. Again, I only practice in Florida, so I can't help any of those people if they're out of state. And if it moves them to do something, it's well worth whatever time I put in doing this. Meanwhile, have a wonderful day and thanks again for watching.